So here we got two Smith & Wesson 686s. Up top we got the 4-inch. Down below we have a 2.5-inch. Both shoot the 38 Special and the 357 Magnum. This right here is a 2.5-inch Smith & Wesson 686. 2.5 inches from the end of the frame to the end of the barrel. It's 2.5 inches. What we threw here on the table was a GP 100 Talo edition. This is actually a 3-inch barrel from frame to muzzle tip. So we threw that in there just to give you an example of what you'd be looking at size-wise, going from a 2.5 to a 3-inch to a 4-inch barrel. Now, as you can see on the barrel, on one side you have Smith S&W 357 Magnum printed on one side. On the other side, you're going to see it say just Smith & Wesson, fully written out. Alright, now another thing that I've also noticed on that I've seen on every new Smith & Wesson 686, as far as all the ones that I was picking up while I was shopping around, it's right above the latch lever right here. You have these two little hair marks. I'm not sure if that's just to keep track of what model this is or what dash number this is, but I've noticed that on every single Smith & Wesson, at least all the new ones in the last 6 months, I'd say. They have these two little hair marks right there. Now the difference in between the Ruger latch system is that it is a push button activated latch system that comes out, while the Smith & Wesson is a push forward release latch system to release the cylinder right here. That right there is the difference in between the Smith & Wesson and the Ruger latch system. The Colt is actually a pull back. It's a very similar button, almost like the Smith & Wesson, but it pulls back. And if you're left-handed, it's extremely hard to activate. But if you're right-handed, it's kind of easy because all you gotta do is drag your thumb back. But as a lefty, it's pretty hard. Both revolvers are 7-shot. As you can see here, 7-shot. Both versions are the plus version. They have the standard blacked out rear, red front. Might think about upgrading these. I'm not 100% sure. I am a big fan of the fiber optic sights, so we're not sure if we're going to upgrade those. It has a checkered hammer on the back. Great for putting your thumb on. Gives you a little bit of extra texture on that. They do have aftermarket features that actually have a fatter, more spurred out hammer as well. It's a bit heavy on the double action. You see right here, it takes a little bit of force to pull it back. Single action, it's just a little feather. So that's a 2.5-inch. As I said, we have the 4.5 here. You can see the size difference in the size and barrel. You have a little bit more actual weight, so it balances better a little bit in the hand. This is obviously a lot easier to carry if you're going to carry concealed. They come with the Hogue rubber grips, which is actually a nice fitting grip. Absorbs recoil well. Same sight system as well. Blacked out rear, red in the front. Neither one of us have actually shot the 2.5-inch. Didn't make it out to our last range trip because somebody forgot, but we're going to take this out. And supposedly with the more, weight behind it, you're going to absorb more of the recoil with the 4-inch. So we're actually looking forward to, experiencing that ourselves. Because everyone always says, the bigger the barrel, the more the gun weighs, the more recoil is going to be absorbed. Another quick thing that we did notice as well is if you look here, you'll notice the 357 Magnum case on my left, your right, I guess, is actually a bit longer of a case right there. So the one thing that we actually notice is the ejection rod is actually shorter than the ejection rod on the 4-inch. So when you eject around, it doesn't come all the way out or as far. Now the 357 Magnum is going to be more likely to hang up because it has a longer casing. That's why I use this round as an example. It still does get somewhat hung up on the 4-inch as well, but not as much as you'll see here. It ejects a little bit more until it's almost hanging out right there. So just a little bit more and it probably would have fell out. But that just goes to show you that if you're going to carry or conceal a smaller 2.5, 2-inch snubby revolver in any caliber, and stress time and you need to reload, you'll be more likely to have to upturn the revolver to get it to fall out when you're ejecting it. So that's something that you may want to, you know, consider. It's one of the benefits of having a 7-shot and not just a 6, because if you do have to reload, you will be more likely to actually have to go into that.